police everywhere, helicopters,
Yeah, dogs.
dogs, the whole lot.
Yeah. You get out okay?
We got out, we went to the local pub for a drink, and after about half an hour, the police had surrounded the pub.
Oh my God.
Not to arrest us, but to protect
Protect us from who's coming in. That's just fanatical.
There is one or two more expected to arrive. There might be a few more minutes late, but we might start the proceedings because the last one went full 1.5, almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
A bit of an overrun, which was good. A lot of Q&A through the process. Most I know in the room. Peter, lovely to meet. Thanks for coming along. Today's the way we've positioned today's presentation is a pre-launch discussion, pre-launch presentation around the technology. Everyone's heard me talk about it and what we've been working on, but then there's obviously the brand management around it, the business strategy, the roadmap, getting into market and all that kind of stuff. So please, pull me up here and if you get some questions, we'll write them down and we can do a Q&A through it or toward the end. But welcome, thank you. A big part of the projector and today's presentation is the actual app and the desktop booking site. So I will load it up. When part of the thinking around air stays is when we were talking with the tech guys and the designers was positioning it as thinking of the Swiss Army knife. It's a sort of a one-stop utility tool, nice design, quality, and Instagram, which is quite powerful, particularly the millennials in a certain demographic, but also pictures in travel. So marrying Swiss Army knife with Instagram was visually and from a user point of view what we were trying to achieve with the optics of and then the functionality of the app particularly. The desktop, to some degree, but more and more people gravitating to the mobile phone and traveling with the app, and that's what that's why we've been positioning the company. So, and I say that in the context of even from the very beginning with the app, you'll see there's a picture of the background, a young lady in a red dress, white beach, swimming pool, anything you'd think of travel, somewhere exotic perhaps. The real estate on the tablet and the laptop and your phone is all about trying to create an impression. But also that photo, it may change, it might be a revolving number of photos. We may be able to plug into the actual user, their own profiles of photos in their library, so it becomes even more personal. But at the moment, we've got a nice photo. But the point being is that we're using every inch of the real estate, being the screen, the iPhone or the tablet, that is travel centric and to create a user experience. So I'll now log in. Okay, so this is the landing page when you've logged in for the first time or re-entering into your account. We've plugged into a GDS, which is an acronym for a Global Distribution System. And that Global Distribution System has hotel inventory on board. There's about 4 or 5 in the world. They have built their business up over 50 years in terms of hotels plug into a centralized database. So do airlines. So that way there's a central.
This is like hotels.com.
No. Hotels.com is an aggregator. So they are also plugged into databases. There's only half a dozen databases in the world. Either you plug in directly to the hotel or you plug into a company that has access to the hotel. This is part of our roadmap. People who are not familiar with travel kind of think, well, how do you get to the hotel? Well, from our point of view, we've got relationships with hotels, so we'll go direct. We'll go to the hotel inventories direct, and they come to us, and what they call channel managers, which are a little bit of a hybrid. They have their own network of hotels through third parties and directly. Our business platform, Airstays, is what they call a B2C, business to consumer or business to traveller. Our goal is to be a marketer, bring them to our platform, bring the traveller to our platform, excite them to come there, have value propositions that should appeal to maybe not everyone, but a good portion of the travelling mix. There's a focus on that. Maybe not 15, but certainly 18 to 40 bracket who are digital natives today. I mean, Facebook's been around for 20 years. I'm not on there, but 20 years ago it was born. At the precipice of when the internet was starting. So, the digital native.
You're a dinosaur, aren't you?
I'm a dinosaur now, let alone then. But I saw the value of what they call the FANGs, Amazons, Facebooks, the Apples of the world. But in terms of the travel where we're focused on, is all about the UX design value propositions. As you'll see through the presentation, digital key is a big part of what we're doing. Cryptocurrency, stay, and membership programs. There's 3 or 4 what we call unique points of difference. Everything else that makes up Airstays is others have it too. Whether we like to think we might do it better, but there's nothing unique about it in terms of what others do and what we do, our competitors do. So we're still connecting a traveller to a hotel, so that's not unique, it's just how we do it. Coming back to, part of the Amadeus, popular hotels. Now, obviously, we want to get to a point where we've got our own inventory. So we're going to the hotel direct and bringing them into our ecosystem. But we've got to start somewhere. So we plugged into other databases to bring the hotels to us. We want to do it direct for 2 reasons. One, better commissions, better margin for us, number one. But also with them, we create a direct relationship with that hotel. So based on the GPS, which is all phone centric, you'll see Park Hyatt, Harbour Rock, Seagull, and Shangri-La. They only have 3 or 4 within a 200 to 500 metre radius of where we are. So that's a given. That's what we get. That's the hotels in the area. You can make a booking. You can put in here, Melbourne, Sydney, wherever. If you want to do it straight from here, you can go straight to pick a room. Dates. But also notice the experience. There's no confirmation button. If I just touch the screen, it goes to the next step, which in the tech space, in the UX space, user experience space, that's frictionless. There's less friction, less stepping stones to get to the actual booking. It's a big thing that Amazon sort of played with to get the customer to the checkout basket. And Apple, to their credit, and Android have done a lot of steps that make the technology build easier as well, because they've got a lot of the mindset of who's using this in mind. So rooms, adults, let's say two adults.
Where do I go to pick the hotel?
Yep, no, I'll come to that in a second. Yeah. Okay, so you can do it a number of ways. In the very first one, when people go looking, if you've got a hotel in mind, you'll just go in and type in the hotel. The normal way of, the usual way of people searching for travel, the journey starts with the city. So you would go either through here, or at the bottom you'll see there's a number of icons, explore. There's one on the far left, or at the very top where it's next to the orange with the little key in it. You can click either one, but I'll do the one up at the top. So here it goes to the map, and it's GPS centric. So it knows that I'm it doesn't know it's the rock, but it knows based on coordinates where I am. Now at the top here, I'll put in enter destination. So I'll put in, say, Sydney, even just the first few words, if I can spell it right. Right, and it comes into there. Then all I have to do is at the bottom, hotels, restaurants, transport. They will, in the future, they will scroll, because next to it, they will have concierge, flights, the Airstay Sunrise program, which is our membership-based stuff. So whatever we want to add onto here, it will be at the bottom and it will scroll. So if I just click on hotels, it will search for hotels based on my GPS. In this case, and I've put in Sydney. If I put in Washington, New York, Melbourne, which I'm happy to demonstrate, it will do the same in each of the cities or what towns you're looking for, because it's a global platform. A bit like some of the competitors said, you'll see the prices and the pinpoints that are there. At the bottom, you'll see the hotels that come up. If I scroll here, you'll see that it'll change from dark blue to light blue, where the prices are, if they're in screen. So it tells me, okay, so I know Sydney Hotel QVB is 97. I can zoom in, see where it is. So it's got the search and functionalities that our competitor set has. And you've got, the screen the scrolling on the bottom. Our app is, there's about 3 of us in the world that have this kind of user experience. Hotels Tonight has this, which was sold to Airbnb for $430 million November 2019. So we've got a UX that is comparable with our competitors. And for an MVP, a minimal viable product, it's a pretty good place to be as we want to step into the market and launch. Now, it's got things like in the top there you'll see list, filters, and key. List, all it does, it goes from being horizontal to vertical, which some people like, so they can scroll down that way. You'll see in the top right-hand corner the little love heart. That's the favourites. The certain millennials, they like to, you click on favourites because I like that hotel. It goes into down at the bottom the favourite hotels that I've selected. So it's got a historical component to it, and then previous trips and all that kind of stuff. Then things like filters, which all comes through Amadeus. We've added the digital key component in. So at an instant, I can click on the dollar signs if I'm looking for a particular budget or star rating. I can click multiple ones on them if I want to. Different star ratings, I'll take them off. Click the different boxes. But a big part of our value proposition is the digital key. Now, if I click on, and you'll see that there's an orange icon with $189 in it. So if I click on the button at the top, digital key, it just goes, it eliminates everything else. So two parts of our booking and search is we have a proprietary data. When I say proprietary database, we've built it up and integrated into the app. It has the hotels around the world that we've identified, and we keep adding to them, that have the digital key functionality. So we've got that. We're not in the digital key space. We don't have a digital key software. We work with the companies that provide that to hotels. We don't want to take that risk. We don't want to be in that market. But we are helping them facilitate digital key.
Tell me what a digital key is.
Yeah, no, I'll get to that. Yep. A digital. I'll say it now. Using your phone to, when you get to the hotel, instead of going to reception, you go to the room and use your phone to open the door. So there are digital. It's called can be called digital key or mobile key, because the key is set from the hotel to the phone, stored on the phone at the day of your check-in, and during the time frame that you're staying in-house, you can, using your phone to access your hotel door. Then there is a bespoke model if I want to access housekeeping and other things, whether they're in the facilities of the hotel or local entertainment and restaurants and all that kind of stuff. So the business model around this is the digital key is a bit of a Trojan, get customers coming to the platform through booking and searching and rewarding them. Then once they start using it, then there are other revenue streams that we can tap into through the app, connecting them with hotels, with restaurants, connecting them with Ubers or share ridings of the world, flights, and other forms of entertainment, which I'll show you. We'll go
How many
through.
hotels have got digital keys?
Around the world, it's not a huge number. There's there's 40,000 in America that just open key use. We estimate about 100,000 in America. This is not hotel rooms. And on average, it's got about 100 rooms per hotel. And then in Australia, there's not many. We've identified about half a dozen, but it's growing slowly, but it's growing. China's got a lot more because it's also a cultural thing. Japan, China, one of the other Asian ones, Singapore, they're growing in terms of their digital key being enabled. So it's a growing space for that penetration. And certainly through COVID, because we work with the digital key suppliers, has increased over the last 6 or 7 months because everyone wants to contactless touch points. So coming into here, we have identified Sky Suites in, I think it's on George Street or somewhere, not George Street, Kent Street, that has the digital key. So we click on that, and you'll see, it'll pop up with its details, reviews, facilities, and the pictorials. You can just scroll down, you can zoom in and out of the map. There's a guest star rating that we plugged in with Google, which is very important in travel. That's how people make, well, not everyone, but look at their peers for reviews. So we plugged in with Google. We have our own star rating system, which plugs into our second patent, where if you have a look on the left-hand side, is what I would call traditional questions of hotels. On the right-hand side is more what I would call digital age, modern age questions that relate to digital key, COVID, connectivity to the TV and things like that. That a certain demographic is leaning towards as they travel, what they're looking for.
Do you pay anything for Google reviews?
No, it's all part of the integration. Yeah, because, and this is part of our roadmap, Google is out there, and we're positioning ourselves in the jet stream of Google. Google is out there not wanting to be a booking engine, or what they call an OTA, online travel agent. Expedia.com, Booking.com, the two big players, that's what they do. They also pay Google billions of dollars in revenue streams for advertising, right? So Google doesn't want to eat into that, but they see how big travel is. So they're out there over here aligning themselves with what they call preferred partners, which is what we are, and together with our partners in Simple Night in America, who they provide the data to, provide so much information to for us to bring the customer to our platform, but also, you know, what they're looking for in their travel experience. So they're over here taking money in one hand, but over here taking it potentially in another hand.
How long do you think it'll be till Google tries to raid your space?
No, that could be years away, because there's no need to, because they're getting money out of the big guys over here. It's a question, if we become, let's say, even half the size of the two big guys, well, Google's going to be taking it, you know, out of one hand here and some over here. For us, it doesn't matter, because it's all about how do we bring the customer to us for our value proposition. So, you know, if we're not thinking about going up head to head with Google, it's symbiotic. But with Booking.com and Expedia.com, yeah, that's where we want to be. That's what space we're playing in. Thank you.
That's okay.
Yeah, just put it on there.
Oh, thank you.
It's just sandwiches and the things coming in, Andrew.
You've eaten enough, Andrew.
Yes.
I did fill the
Is
plate.
there such
pretty
thing
well.
as enough food?
Can I get another coffee, please?
Of course. That way?
Thank you.
Mark, if Airstays launched tomorrow, out of the hotel database, the bars, the restaurant side of things, what sort of scale have you got straight off the bat through those relationships you've already got?
Okay. Amadeus has 500,000 hotels.
Yep.
Globally.
Yep.
So that's off the bat. Simple Night integration has another 200,000 hotels. Some are, you know, also in the Amadeus database, but there's about 150,000 unique ones that are different. They're working with the smaller boutique hotels, which suits us and plays into us. So then there's the 50-odd thousand from Open Key that are all American, primarily America-centric.
Yep.
A number of chains in Europe.
Yep.
As well, that we've done business development. We went there, spoken with them. So to answer the question, call it 500,000 hotels. In terms of restaurants, we've done an API into OpenTable, which I'll get to in a moment. In terms of the restaurants, Simple Night also has a lot of concierge touch points. If you're looking for luxury stuff, you want to get tickets to something, tours, events, all that kind of stuff. They've already done integration, so we integrate with them as well, and then we come up with that concierge tab, which we just haven't done the integration with Simple Night. We didn't need to, but that's part of the next iteration.
Yep.
So it's already ready. We can launch tomorrow. We'll have all that, like, let's call it end-to-end functionality within a month or two. You know? But this just gets us ready to go. You know?
Yep.
Well, I'll just finish this, and I'll explain a bit more of what you said there. But I just want to finish off this Airstays rating, because that's part of our patent number 2. Not only we're capturing data in an easy, simple way, because it's star rating, it's just push on the buttons. We're collecting data, but we're also rewarding the customer for doing that, and we're the only ones doing that in the world. No, I'm not saying we're unique in that respect, but we are at the moment. But we're rewarding you for providing that questionnaire, because it shits me to no end that I get asked, but I don't get rewarded. So in our program, you get rewarded for providing that data. So, and it also make a value proposition for us, because they feel special. So in every step that we're doing in here, you get rewarded for traveling. So as soon as you start doing your travel journey and search with us, you know you're going to get rewarded, compared to others, which is our crypto, and and then you can sell the points online.
What sort of rewards are you looking at?
I'll come to that. Yeah. No, in terms of how it's tiered and what you can do with it, its transferability and all that kind of stuff. So when you get to the next stage, you can pick the particular room type. I'll just pick the first one. Because this is a digital key enabled hotel, this step comes up. And I made a point before about pictorials on the real estate. We've left this particularly purposely blank to show the difference. If you see here, the whiteness. It's very bland, but it's real estate that we can utilise somehow. In the earlier presentation, there was a chap here, and I've joined their advisory board, who's founded an online casino. So, thank you. And we're looking at shared resources, synergies, knowledge, but also customers.
Which company is that?
8 Store.
Who runs that?
A guy called Luke Cowan.
Oh, okay.
Right, it was from Play Up, and now he's he's launching their online casino next week. Australian based, but the license is out of Malaysia and incorporated out of Malta. But we've known each other for a long time. My background, most of you don't know, is Crown and casino. So, but I see a lot of synergies because it's online and customers. The point being is that where there are steps in the process where we can capture customers that are from other, let's call it synergistic players, whether it's digital or online, we may have some sort of revenue stream here where it pops up with 8 Store, get a few extra points or membership bonuses, but you get access to the online casino. So there's a lot of stuff that we're working on to create that what we call stickiness to bring the customer, but then keep them coming back. Here, because it's a digital key hotel, there's a little bit of a blurb. This hotel allows for smartphone enabled room access. Yes, by ticking that box, I'm saying yes, I want digital key, and I'm going to get rewarded. So not only do I get rewarded for booking at the start, I'm going to get rewarded for using digital key. And that's part of our patent number 1. Then it comes up in the summary page, obviously, and then there's a sequence in here. If there's 0 at the moment, but if had 1,000 stay, which is what we call our membership points, then I can click that box and either pay for it in full or they're part of whatever the balance is. Then as I scroll down, making sure the details are okay, I get to the bottom, typical like everything else, put in your credit card, all that. But because we've got a crypto pillar to our platform, and there's a crypto audience out there that has limited use of their cryptocurrency in real world use, you can pay with a cryptocurrency.
Sorry, crypto just leaves me absolutely cold.
No, that's okay.
90% of the population don't understand it. 9% of the people do understand it, and I think only 1% of the population use it.
Well, it's interesting statistics. When we looked at it, there's 500 million. There's a group out there there's a platform called Telegram where crypto users use to communicate through the different projects. We have a crypto presence through Telegram as well. There's 500 million active users on there, and it's a $1 trillion ecosystem. Compare it to the 90%. No, it's small, but on its own,
I've never met anybody who understands it.
Yeah, it's interesting. If I say crypto to you, what do you, other than get confused? Because there's blockchain, which is the platform that crypto runs on, and the way I explain it is, blockchain is like a highway. You've got cars going up and down the infrastructure. Blockchain is the infrastructure. And how it works, what it does, that's a very detailed question. But to try and simplify it for people that ask these questions is, it's a highway. So blockchain's a highway that runs, transfers, let's call it money from account A to account B. The cars that run on there is the crypto. And then you've got these gantries or tollways. Every time you run under there, someone takes a clip, which is what they call the mining. They call it gas, but it's mining that runs the platform. So that's how I try and simplify it. Blockchain's a highway. The cars that run on it is the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin or Ethereum. And then how they make money is every time they pass under a gantry, someone somewhere takes a clip. Very, very, very small when you compare it to other fintech platforms like the banking infrastructure, which is very expensive. Well, when you're transferring money around, it's not cheap, and what the banks charge. So that's how I explain crypto to some degree. How it plays into what we're doing is we have a membership program called Stay Reward. So it's points, like any Virgin Velocity or Qantas frequent flight.
Don't mention the Virgin.
No. Well, it's a bit of a moot point for people, but it's a point system. What we're doing is we're tokenizing that we try and reward you to get at more steps in the travel process. You get rewarded at as many steps as possible. Number one. They're value-added steps like digital key, providing the guest data that they're not getting rewarded elsewhere. Booking a room for $100, getting a 1% reward, others will do that too. So we're not unique there. We might be a bit sharper on our percentages, but it's not unique. but we also reward you for using crypto in our ecosystem. So we're trying to bring more use and more utility to our platform from the crypto world, because it's a growing space. As more and more people do become more accepting of it, more understanding of it, utilising it more, it's a big. If we get there early as a first mover, we become part of the narrative over time. And it took us 2 or 3 years to sort of wrap my head around it. I thought I didn't think it was bullshit. I just didn't understand it. But we took 2 years to talk to people, get out there. It's really used in the fintech space. We thought once we realised it's not bullshit, it is here to stay. It's blockchain and what runs blockchain. Can it be used in travel? Yes. Yes, number 2. Can we use it in the airspace platform? Yes, number 3. So those 3 things came together, allowed us to made us a decision to include that, and now it's become a real point of difference for us, particularly as a first mover advantage. Then we tried to wrap intellectual property around that with the patents, so that way, we've got something of value for either investors, the company, or potential trade, suits and trade sales down the track. Because of all that, there's a functionality you can use, not just our stay currency, but other cryptos in here. So you just go down the process, complete booking, and then it pops up into the window that complete transaction. We go to Coinbase or a pop-up screen, and it'll come up with a menu, and you can use whatever crypto you may have, and these are the majors. We'll keep adding to it as time goes on, and which ones are working, and you go from there. So that sort of completes the booking process.
Was there an option as well, Mark, if you're in Tokyo, to use currency for that particular location?
At the moment,
well?
it's based on GPS. So if you're in Tokyo, it'll come up with the yen in your GPS. But also then, as you start typing in your credit card, because I have a European credit card and I have an Australian credit card. It also depends on that source too.
Yep.
But there is you can choose to pay in a different currency if you want to.
Okay.
But it also comes back to the credit card, because that's the form of payment.
Yep.
Ultimately.
Sorry, Mark, can we go back to how to pay now? Just
Go back.
because I felt there was too much emphasis on crypto than to the credit card.
The credit card just puts your details in.
Yeah, I just didn't see that.
Oh, sorry.
That confused me.
Yep, sure.
See, like to
Ray
me,
wants to see
I
your credit
agree with
card.
Peter. I think if you don't understand it,
Yeah.
and then you just see crypto, you actually walk away.
Yeah. No, sure.
As soon as I see crypto, I run away.
Yeah, I think the problem is you've got these, as Mark says, these digital natives who are very familiar with it.
See on the left
And
hand side,
that's a
it
problem.
automatically defaults to credit
To-
card or debit card, so it's there.
I thought
So
it went
I
straight
won't
to-
type it in because it's actually this is a live beta, and it'll
Yeah.
actually make a booking, which is okay. But I know they're playing around with the credit card function. But as I said, my name's already up there because of
That's
that
it, that's
account.
good.
I put in a credit card, and it actually comes up on the screen up the top,
Yes.
right? So it's a nice little
Right, okay.
user experience
Yeah,
in that.
because you do confuse people if you.
Yeah, no.
The second page after that,
No.
that's what was confusing.
No,
if
here,
you press the Bitcoin now,
Yeah, it defaults to credit card. If I go to B, it goes to Bitcoin.
yeah, that was
right?
confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, so then but if I go back, and then you just continue.
Right.
So it defaults to the normal one. If you have a look at the top, stay balance, there's actually a third payment method. I can use the stay currency, our currency, as well.
Okay.
Right? And that's a big part of our value prop, enterprise value as we grow. The more hotels we bring on board, the more utility of our cryptocurrency through demand and supply, the value of the stay goes up, and so does the value of the company. So we're relying in the initial stages on commissions from bookings of hotels, and as part of the rest of the demonstration, we'll show the more revenue streams we have, the more clips we can create. There's revenue line items everywhere.
Love flipping.
And we're not being greedy. We know we're part of our business plan is people involved are from the industry, hospitality, travel, what you name it. We're from that space, so we recognise there's a lot of grease in the supply chain, like too much, right? So there's room to thin some of that out. Where you can't work for nothing, and it's scalable. But by being the crypto is a big part of it, because our enterprise value comes from it's like creating a new currency out there, and we're one of the first into the market.
But there are some of these sort of big flying digital natives who actually now only use or really prefer to use Bitcoin. So can you use Bitcoin on the?
Yes, that's that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't see it there.
No.
But there's
another option.
Okay.
the default option is credit card or
Yeah.
debit card. Next to
Yeah.
it, there's a little button. It's the universal symbol for crypto. You click
Okay.
on that,
Yeah.
and it's got Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum.
Yeah.
You know, there's whatever the top 10 popular ones we put up there, and then we just stick with it.
Yeah.
If you book the
Did you
Fulton,
never
would you
go
get?
through this by voice?
That I don't know, but no. Andrew and I have discussed about where can we add product features to this for certain demographics.
Leah wouldn't let me do it anyway.
No, Andrew and I have discussed it as we go forward, and this is what we call an MVP, a minimal viable product to go to market with, balanced with the resources, funds that we've had, and we've done, this would normally take a couple of $1 million, but we've done it with less than a third because, time has moved on. Technology and coding has made things easier, so we've been able to develop, and we've had the time with COVID. But Andrew, it's as we add product features to this, for exactly feedback from, let's call it not minority group, but where we can see people would use it.
He's a minority.
Well,
Lucky I'm a minority.
It's a perspective.
One's enough for me, isn't it? Yeah.
But whether it's voice or other things,
Yeah.
you're right, and we get the feedback in, and we add what they call product features to the platform and to the app to tap into that market. And there's an old saying in the tech space: fail often, fail fast. So if it works, you go with it. If you spend a little, gets traction, doesn't work, you
Switch
just
it
knock
off.
What platform is it built on?
The crypto is Ethereum. The actual coding, I think part's Python. I'm not sure exactly some of the actual knowledge of the language, but a lot of it is original coding. Other is they've just, because the company that we've used as part of our team, they've got different codes from different sources, but we own it.
It works equally well on Apple as it does on.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay. That's the device. The iOS system is the Apple. I'm presenting on Apple, but we've also got the Android. Apple is always the one that you work with because it's tougher and longer to get through their protocols, which we've been approved. Once that's been done, it takes less. We've already done the Android one, but I don't have Android. I'm just presenting on Apple, so it's available in both. It will be available in both stores. Yeah, but Android's is much simpler. In terms of the coding and the platform. Does that answer? That's okay?
Yeah,
right?
that's fine.
Okay, so then I'll go back.
So if you go to the Fulton, how much loyalty points do I get if I book through that?
Okay, I'll just go methodically through the thing. Most of the questions should be answered, but do raise
We
it.
keep interrupting a very well-rehearsed.
No, not at all, because they are mental trigger points when I get to that. Then I can address you to say, this is your question. Now I'm going at the bottom here in terms of what the icons are. That's the favourite icon, which is important with certain demographics, and it's there. Then there's the wallet. So this will answer your question, Ray, in terms of, if you've got stay balance in your wallet, it'll go from 0 to 100 or 1,000 or whatever points you've got. They're the ones that you've earned, or the currency traders who think stay could have a lot of stickiness, they'll go and buy it on market and store it as a store of value, right? And they can store it in, which is good for us because it increases the value, right?
And usage. Because it basically becomes a sort of ambient marketing technique.
Well, we'll go out there because we've got different audiences: the hotel audience, the traveller audience, the crypto audience as a traveller, but the crypto trader as well. So we've got multiple, feathers to our bow to try and get stickiness, right? All balanced with resources.
Traction,
Someone says, "Here's $5 million. How are you going to spend it?" Well, very, very smartly, but our goal is $500,000 to $2 million, and we've got our budget that will achieve certain milestones on there. But we're pretty confident. There's other co-founders in America who are very well placed in raising capital in the tech space. That we get, the milestone we have to deliver really is be in market and show them pretty much what we've got. Then be in market for 6 months or so. We step into bigger, licks of capital, 5, 10, 20 million type stuff, which then sets us up for the next 2 or 3 years. Because at the moment, whether it's a business in resources or construction, you have a minimum burn rate, monthly outgoings. Ours will be from fuck all to 50 grand a month, which is still not a lot in the tech space, but that runs us out for $500,000, 600 grand for a year. We had 2 million, we'll probably amp that up to 100 grand. Right? And that runs us out for 1.2 million. So, but we can achieve so much more in the milestones, including a crypto listing, do more marketing, you know, and we're a global platform. Our focus is America, because we've got a big part of our team is American based. More hotels there, more hotels with digital key. I just happen to be the founder based in Australia, so we'll do marketing and business development here. But as our roadmap is to the NASDAQ, a listing on the NASDAQ, unlike we will list here, you know, that 3 or 4 month year runway to create the enterprise value, we're going to, you know, it's a population thing. America, Europe, China, we've got a Chinese joint venture partnership to help us step into China. South America, and then Asia Pacific, you know, which pulls in Malaysia, Singapore, and Australia. But you know, that's go where the numbers are, where travellers are. You know, we're not going to Afghanistan. I'm sure it's a beautiful country, but you know, we don't see unless you want adrenaline.
Very exciting.
Good luck with South America.
Well, no, we've got some really good connections. We've got a couple of team there already. We've got plug into it's corrupt as anywhere, and that's okay. But and that's okay. You know, things can get done. And they are one's the president of the Hotel Association, who is a conduit to hotels who want digital key and a new player in the space. So
It's just that Andrew and I worked for about 4 years in Argentina.
Oh, it's good fun. There are plenty of people travelling there, though, mate. But,
I'll come back to the travel environment and coexisting with COVID, because that leads into top line travel numbers. So I'll come to that in a moment. But so Ray, just because that's where your stay balance is, you get 1% for booking a room, 1% for using the actual stay, 1% for leaving the review, which is and then 1% for booking digital key. So the last 2 percentages is also links into our patents 1 and 2. So talks about IP. There might be other touch points as we go forward, but it's part of the MVP, minimal viable product.
What is booking a digital key?
That step there was a step earlier that I showed you. You've booked you've searched and selected a hotel that has digital key being enabled. Right. You don't have to use it. It's a signal to you that this hotel. So you make that choice by ticking that box. You get rewarded. So it's the mouse and the cheese theory because we're rewarding you for doing it anyway. But it's also part of the business plan. We're working with the digital key providers. So they love it because we're out there, the Google of digital key, promoting it out there. They're doing it on their own, but in a very narrow market, because they're not going to promote other digital key suppliers, because why would you promote your competition? We're promoting the digital key environment for everyone, and we are agnostic. Technically, I mean, from the hotel game as well. If someone asks me which digital key should I use, there's only 2 or 3 in the world that I would recommend, and it depends on the hotel and the size and what you're trying to achieve. So we're happy to provide that add value advice to hoteliers, but we don't have to tell that to the customer because they don't give a shit as long as there's security, privacy, and works. Then the next bit on the thing is the itinerary. So if you made a booking, I mean we haven't made a booking, but it would come up in here. But as you can see, we've picked photos to help illustrate each of the different components of the app. As I was saying before, that might be someone's own photo from their travel experience that's plugged into their photo album. It's up to them. But we haven't built that functionality, but it's important in travel, I think. And then the last icon is your profile, and has the summary. Things at the bottom, obviously sign out, where it says the fine print. A lot of the apps have all the legal notices built within. It creates a very noisy environment. So what we've done, we've built that outside of it. So all you have to do is click on the fine print, it goes to a separate page, and we can always upload and change this as required. And we've tried to be, one thing I learned from the Virgin Group is to try and make the mundane, the mundane stuff kind of somewhat jazz it up with sexiness type stuff. The legal notice of the fine print is not, but things like, the legal beagle said we had to, so we made the fine print a bit of a fun and adventure. If you have a look at the photos, you'll see the terms and conditions, like the first one, you think of legal, you think of power and strength type stuff, right? So you've got the elephant with a couple of birds on top of it, right? So we've tried to make it a little bit sexy in that respect.
You ever heard of the saying, the fat bit?
The fat
bit.
The fat bit.
It's the bit before the share application form.
No.
All the legal terms.
Oh yeah, well when you deal with America, it's like this page, right? It's a newspaper, right? It's minimum 8 font, right? And they've got as many words they can fit to a page. Australia's getting there, but Yes,
Southern
I haven't heard of
option.
that, but yes, I'm aware of what it now. I want to know what it means.
There was a saying that was in the Fin Review in the Chanticleer section,
Right.
where people apply for shares in a company. Nobody reads the fat bit.
No, right, yeah.
It's all the information they should read
No.
before they apply for the share.
No, that's right.
They
But when
don't
shit
read
hits the
it.
fan, the lawyers circle back to it saying, where
Yeah.
was that prospectus? What did it say? Where was the marketing material? You know,
Fat bit.
it's in the fat bit. Yeah, everyone, some people, they may not read it, but they're aware of it.
Sorry, I digress.
No, far from it. But the point being is that everything's outside of the app to keep this streamlined and slick. And if someone wants to read it, there's all the different things.
Nobody will click on the fine print.
Well, we have, like you said,
Gotta have
the legal beagles made us do it, Coming back to the search functionality in here, now I clicked on hotels before and showed the depth thing. The other one, and I'll type in just for a different city, Washington, right? Again, no GPS there, just comes up with Washington, right? I could click hotels and hotels would come up. I'm clicking restaurants. So we've done integration with a company called OpenTable, which is one of the largest online booking platforms for restaurants. One of our co-founders was the founder of OpenTable, Eric. Now they sold that for 2.6 bill to Booking.com about 5-6 years ago. We've done what they call a tier 2 integration. We'll do a tier 1 once we get certain volumes in the market, then we can upgrade to the next one. Which basically, down the bottom, where it's at the bottom, it'll have pictures, and when you click on one of the little red icons, it's black at the moment, but as I move around, you'll see the icons changing colour based on location and the restaurant. And then I click on one of those, bearing in mind restaurant, it's over there, a lot of closed or only takeaway. Whereas in this case, it's not, it's open, right? So I can actually now go and make a booking the hotel that I want. I can go, because it's in the top left, you'll see airstays, I can actually go back and reselect. In list, you'll have, it just goes from horizontal to vertical, and as I was saying before, the tier 2 integration, it'll have pictures here, but we didn't worry about sort of going to that stage at this point. And then the filters, I can start filtering in dollars. The tier 1 integration, Chinese, Asian, price, holds a range of more filtering that suits your particular style. The other part of I was saying before, you've got hotels, restaurants, transport, we'll have concierge services, flights, anything that we can think of that's related to travel. It'll link to our retail store, anything else that we want will be at the bottom here, and it'll scroll. They call it placeholders card. I wanted to show it so I could scroll and people could see, but Apple, as part of their approval, if it has no functionality behind it, doesn't get approved, so we haven't got it up there at the moment. But if I go to transport, for example, straight away comes up with Uber, Lyft, and Google. Now there's GoGet and Ola and a few others that we haven't done integrations with at this stage. But I can click on Lyft. Lyft is big in America, not so big here. I don't even think it's here, but I'm not sure. But it's huge in America. So it's not available here, so that's what comes up. But if I had my account, which I'll go back, if I go to Uber, so the point here is it's less friction, less fragmentation. I don't have to go back out of the Airstays app. I can go straight into what I'm looking for. And that's my account with my app, because I've already got it on the phone. And then it's like anywhere, where am I going? What am I doing? I just put in the details, and it has the share riding experience that's taken over. So the point here is, I can get access to all these other travel apps within the Airstays app. In the short term, we've done all the work, done integration. As we build volume, and it's also a Trojan to bring customers in. As we build volume, we circle back to these companies to start working on a revenue model or a revenue deal, to take a clip, ever so gently. We all, on this point, we made a small investment into a company in America called Bellhop, who have done integrations with pretty much everyone around the world. And their value proposition that lists, not only just has this here, but it will have, you can, within the app, you put in, Park Height to, Phillip Street, it'll come up with each one of the 10 different share riding and the price and the star rating, and you'd be surprised at the degree of difference in what they do. So we will do an integration with them when they're ready, because then you get an extra value proposition through Airstays, is that you'll have all of these, Uber, Lyft and Google, lined up on the left-hand side, plus the price and star rating. And we made a small investment into them, earlier on, because they were a startup, 3 years ago. They've moved on, not moved on, grown, and they're young guys. We met them in New York, and so now whether we then, buy them, do a bigger investment to take them forward, but it's also they bring customers to us. So it's like, not only just symbiotic and a good relation, we've got a small investment into them as well, because we recognise what they were doing. But also from our customers, they will realise, I can go through the Airstays app. The company's called Bellhop. I could go to Bellhop, but it's just very narrow. It's about share riding, whereas Airstays is a travel platform, so it's built into ours. That makes sense.
Yep.
It's just we haven't done. They're not ready for that API because it'll cost a few time and dollars from their part and us as well. But it gives you what we've already got to go to market with as part of that MVP. And as I said before, next to transport, concierge, tickets, tours. There's a two-tier approach there. What you would call, if you're an Amex card holder, that you could get access to because through our Simple Night Association. Then there's all these other value propositions that through being in the game, you could only get through the Airstays platform. Because we've done deals with these hotels or nightclubs or whatever to get exclusive deals through us. How we monetize that, there's a number of trains of thought. Part of it could be a clip, but also, which I'll show in a moment, is we've got a Airstays Sunrise membership program that we are toying around as a product feature. So when you sign up, you get the free one for free, the app for free, but if you pay a subscription price of, at the moment we're toying with $49 per annum, you get access to all these different add values that you can only get through the Airstays app. And there's other things, for example, because there's a lot of problems to be solved in travel that only if you're from the industry you sort of know. It's like, if you pay for your travel with Amex, you've got insurance, from memory, and you've got insurance. So we're saying for those who don't pay with Amex or don't know that, through the subscription, you get automatic insurance built in. That $49 is a revenue item for us, but it basically pays for the membership program and all these value propositions that are built in there. And access to the online casino that I've joined, greater use of your state tokens, you get amplified points. You get about 1,500 free tokens anyway, which is pretty much the value of subscription. So if you look at what Amazon did with Amazon Prime, I think it's $59 per annum, but you get that $59 back pretty much within the first or second delivery because it's guaranteed 2 or 3 days turnaround. So it has a value. If you're going to do a value subscription based in travel, it has to be real value propositions in there. And we think we've got a good spread of what's at that in. I'll show you in a moment. So that pretty much shows, and then obviously as you communicate with the hotel and traveling, there's a notifications section. A greeting on the first time you've logged in. If there's any correspondence from the hotel, we're plugging in with the hotel more here. So that's your notification page. And this is what the hotelier and the customer is wanting to do: connect more with the customer before, during, and after their travel experience. And when you've checked out, you get the notification here about your questionnaire, fill it out, and your stay balance and all that kind of stuff happens in here. So, and that's like a WhatsApp within our environment. That's kind of it in terms of the app itself. I think unless there was anything I skipped over too quickly there, in terms of that, there is. I can flip over to. This is, I'll flip over to the corporate one, not the corporate one, what we call now is the desktop booking one. So what you saw then was the app. We also have the same on, you can access on your phone as well, or your tablet, but this is designed around the laptop and PC because there's still an audience out there that searches on the laptop. Yeah, no, so do I. Yeah, so do I. But I've done a lot of travel, and I would, particularly going overseas and spend a lot of money. It'll take me a week or two to try and get all the moving parts together between prices and hotels and airlines. Well, it helps on here. This is designed for a different mindset. Certainly focusing on the corporate travel and the young traveler around that digital key experience, so that our narrative, our messaging with the media agencies is different demographics will have a different message. We'll talk about Airstays as a platform, but we might emphasise the app on a certain demographic, and obviously how we, probably most likely through social media for a younger demographic. If we're talking to an older demographic who's looking for a cruise, which you can book through here. We've got some strategic partnerships there. Those channels, those certain prints will hit that particular market. So it's like any marketing. It's not rocket science. We're just aware of what we need to do. But we've got the platform built to do that as well as part of the monies that we've spent. I mean, I can go through it, but it's pretty much the same as the app. It's just positioned and shown differently. And so forth. It has digital key in there. It obviously doesn't have certain things you can't book. You can't use the digital key through here because you don't take the laptop to open up the door, but you can search for digital key. And I'll quickly show.
And then sync it to your phone or something.
You can't. No, you can't because the digital key gets sent from the PMS from the hotel to your phone.
Okay.
It's a unique, and it's a big part of the paintings because the digital key is stored on the phone.
Yep.
Once it's sent. I'll just bring up the next page.
I mean, I think this is sort of attacking the millennial market, isn't it? That does most of the travel. They'll use the app, and other people like us might use the website a bit more.
Yeah. But I just want to sort of feeds into this the subscription thing that I want to talk about. But here, I mean, again, we're talking about it's Sydney. It knows that I've chosen Sydney, so it comes up with that. But you'll see the 262 is the Sky Suites one. So I can click digital key over here, and it just comes up with whatever hotel we've identified. There's a few more, but we haven't put them all in yet. And then it just goes through the same process. I mean, these little things like having the photo come up and all that stuff. That is A-grade tech builds. I mean, may not see it because we're used to it from other platform, but for the budget that we had to have these features on here, I'm impressed with the tech guys that they can do. They can do better, but they've done the best that they can with the funds that we raised and provided to them. So, because it's a UX, I don't have to go in and out of stuff. It's all on here. Now, if I like it, in this case, there's only one hotel with digital key. And it goes into the next page. What you normally expect. Again, you've got price, type, beds if they've got it. You click on it. Again, you've got the Estes rating, and then there's the Google's map at the bottom. Down at the right here, look, we set up on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I think it's YouTube, Instagram, and Telegram. So our business development over the last couple of years, building relationships with supply chain partners, hoteliers, creating content for our social media channels. It's just been challenging raising sufficient capital in one hit to keep the momentum. Then you keep going through here, view room. And visual icons is very important. I mean, the data comes from Amadeus, so they have that relationship with the hotels to provide them the best data. But we know, as we work closer directly with the hotelier, there's actually a lot of problems to be solved in how they display their data too. Again, go through here, the summary page, all that kind of stuff, refund, continue booking. Again, in our quick step, in our sequencing, we have the digital key here. If we wanted to use our stay balance, we had somebody would tick it there.
Can you do a combination of both there, Mark?
We would stay in cash or credit card.
Yeah,
we haven't done it at this stage because we'll wait for feedback. But at this stage, it's one or the other.
Yep.
But we'll just see. We're not, But it's an easy thing. It's just let's just change the coding to display at your summary page how much you want to play in it. And it's a question of, do you type into dollars or just use a sliding scale? A bit like with the Virgin points or Qantas points. If I've got 1 million points, how much of it do I want to use?
Okay.
But it's thought of. We just haven't built it.
Yeah.
There was, it'll cost about $2 or $3 grand to change that product feature. Whereas we use that money for things like favourites.
Some real feedback.
Yeah, well, man, we only raised, about not even 150 grand to build all this, plus all the marketing and development, And then again, it goes into credit card, if I want to use Bitcoin. So no different to the app, it's just on the desktop, and it's all done. I just want to go back to the booking site. So that's the app and the desktop. Now this is our corporate site. I was talking, and